José Mario dos Santos Mourinho Felix, known as José Mourinho, started his career as a physical education teacher with a fervent passion for football. He began taking the first steps towards carving his name into the temple of legendary coaches. In 1992, Mourinho had his first opportunity to step into professional football when he officially became an assistant to the famous coach Bobby Robson at Sporting Lisbon. He continued as Bobby's assistant for another 7 years until he officially stepped into coaching in the 2000s. With leadership skills and tactical abilities surpassing others, he helped a small team like União de Leiria finish in 5th place in the 2000-2001 season. In his second season at Leiria, he helped the club compete for 3rd and 4th place by January. Mourinho began attracting attention from big clubs in Portugal. In January 2002, José Mourinho returned to Porto, but this time he returned to take the head coach seat at the club. Taking over a Porto team in crisis, Mourinho could only lead the Dragos side to finish in 3rd place in the standings, promising to bring back the cup next season. He brilliantly guided Porto to win the league title that season. Deco and his teammates also excelled in winning the Portuguese Cup and overcoming Celtic to reach the pinnacle of the UEFA Cup. None of them at that time could predict that the successes of 2003 were just the beginning. The following season, 2003-2004, Porto continued to display an extremely formidable side. They seemed to dominate the entire league with only 2 losses, distancing themselves from Benfica by 8 points, marching towards the Primeira Liga title, and adding another Portuguese Super Cup to their increasingly crowded trophy room. However, the Champions League stage truly showcased Mourinho's tactics. He continued to employ a highly effective playing style, famously dubbed the double-decker bus. He organized a flexible defensive line with fluid gameplay, optimizing not only Porto's defensive capabilities, but also their attacking prowess to the fullest extent. Sir Alex once commented on Mourinho after Manchester United's defeat to Porto that year as follows: "The touchline run to celebrate victory at Old Trafford by Jose? I've done it too. I admire those who dare to show true emotions. It shows his passion for this job." Hence an attractive attacking football, Mourinho's Porto reached the final and scored 3 consecutive goals against goalkeeper Flavio Roma, officially becoming the kings of Europe. His CV was impressive enough to bring him to English football with the most ambitious club at the time. Don't call me arrogant. I say what I think. I'm a European champion, not one of the bottle. I think I'm a special one. Jose Mourinho arrogantly proclaimed on the day he officially became the new manager of Chelsea. The British media likened Mourinho's statements to the famous statement, "The Beatles are more famous than Jesus," made by the legendary John Lennon in 1966 in the US. They even questioned who he thought he was to be so arrogant. But regardless of who he was, the British press were shocked to see Abramovich provide unprecedented financial backing in English football for this man. And Mourinho maximized the resources he was supported with. The players brought in played crucial roles in the team's success over a long period. Drogba arrived from Marseille for $24 million, while the defensive duo Ferreira and Ricardo Carvalho, who had played diligently for Mourinho during Porto's Champions League winning season, joined for a combined fee of $30 million. Petr Cech, who would be the Premier League's #1 goalkeeper for the next decade, arrived for $7.1 million. Meanwhile, Arjen Robben was a shrewd acquisition at $12 million. Mourinho's persuasion of Abramovich to sign Drogba was truly intriguing. Initially, Abramovich asked the Portuguese coach which striker he wanted. Mourinho immediately replied, "Didier Drogba." Abramovich even had to ask again, "Who's that? Didier Drogba? Where does he play?" Faced with this confusion, Mourinho simply responded, "Mr. Abramovich, don't say anything more and just spend the money." Abramovich agreed to shell out a considerable sum at the time to secure the Ivorian striker. In his debut season in the Premier League, Jose Mourinho soon encountered the most formidable figure in English football, Sir Alex Ferguson. Unless they were Chelsea or Liverpool fans, most English people likely wanted Manchester United to win, hoping Sir Alex would teach the arrogant Portuguese a lesson in humility. This sentiment was fueled by Mourinho's statement at his Chelsea unveiling press conference. "I will teach the English how to play football. The British media at the time compared the shock value of Mourinho's words to the statement, "The Beatles are more famous than Jesus." The clash with Manchester United was both an opportunity and a significant challenge for Mourinho on his journey. Facing the Red Devils, one of the most successful teams in English football history, was never easy, even with Chelsea playing at home. Moreover, as mentioned, this was Mourinho's first match in the Premier League. However, it's worth remembering that this wasn't Mourinho's first encounter with Manchester United. It was Porto, led by the Portuguese coach, who knocked Sir Alex's Red Devils out of the Champions League in the round of 16 of the 2003-2004 season. In this reunion, Mourinho once again made Manchester United suffer. Just 14 minutes into the game, striker Johnson set Stamford Bridge alight with a beautifully crafted goal, putting Chelsea ahead 1-0. And when a Mourinho-led team takes the lead, you know what's likely to happen for the rest of the game. The match ended with a narrow victory for the home team, as the Special One welcomed his Premier League tenure with 3 points against Manchester United, marking the beginning of one of the highest peaks in his coaching career. Chelsea went on to win the next 3 consecutive matches. Mourinho finished his first month in the Premier League with a perfect 12 points from 4 games. However, they still couldn't climb to the top as the reigning champions. Arsenal also had similar results. The difference lay in the goal difference. The Gunners scored an impressive 16 goals in 4 matches, while Chelsea's tally was just the odd number. Things became more challenging for Chelsea as they dropped their first points of the season in an uneven draw against Aston Villa away. Returning to Stamford Bridge a week later, Mourinho's men suffered their second consecutive uneven draw against Tottenham Hotspur. Securing only 2 points from 2 matches meant Arsenal widened the gap. Mourinho needed his players to get back to winning ways. Quickly, Chelsea pocketed a full 6 points after 2 emotional victories against Middlesbrough and Liverpool. Cole's goal against Chris from Lampard's direct free kick extended Chelsea's unbeaten run to 8 matches and put pressure on Arsenal. However, Mourinho and Chelsea's unbeaten streak came to an end. The Blues suffered their first defeat of the season against Man City, widening the gap with Arsenal to 5 points. The British media seized the opportunity to criticize Mourinho's boring, pragmatic style of play and praised the beautiful football that Arsenal provided. But Mourinho paid no heed and declared that he would win the title the following April. It was a bold statement, but one that resonated with the character of the Special One. Mourinho quickly adjusted his tactics. Initially, he deployed a 4-4-2 formation with Frank Lampard playing behind the 2 strikers, similar to what Deco had successfully done at Porto. However, Mourinho soon realized that his team was struggling to create scoring opportunities, so he changed to a formation with 3 midfielders. Makelele, known as the team's battery, played just ahead of the defense, controlling the midfield. This move provided more support for Johnson or Drogba, as Lampard was given more freedom to advance forward, while also allowing the wingers to have a greater impact, with Duff on one side and Robben on the other. Immediately after the defeat, Chelsea stunned England with a string of 4 consecutive wins, including 2 matches where Mourinho's side scored 4 goals each, while Arsenal managed just 1 victory during that period. The damaging loss to Man United made the Gunners pay a hefty price. From leading the table with a 5-point difference, Arsenal gradually faltered and officially dropped to second place by round 12. Taking their place was Mourinho's Chelsea, who then surged forward without a single loss for the rest of the season. The Italians invented the parking the bus defensive tactic, but Mourinho is considered the one who elevated it. He brought dynamism to his team in all aspects of the game. Traditional Italian teams had many talented defenders but played very passively. Only when they were clearly superior in technical play and could counter Chelsea effectively, leading to Chelsea players receiving yellow cards, did they play like traditional Italians, or when they were winning and in the final stages of the match. Mourinho is said to be excellent at reading the strengths and weaknesses of opponents. The British media began to recognize this man and questioned whether he was ruining the league. They used a calculation formula for the number of goals Chelsea would concede. It was predicted that Chelsea would end up with over 25 goals conceded because they believed the team had been too lucky in the early stages but would fail in the rest of the season. As we know, that didn't happen. Once again, the English misjudged Mourinho because he was more special than they thought. Meanwhile, Arsenal consistently stumbled in the period from November 2004 to early 2005, and the resurgence of Manchester United at times pushed Arsenal down to third place.